Okay, really needed to jump on here today. And as you can tell from the title of this video, which is Where's the Accountability? This is going to be a video that's probably different from others I've put out over the past several weeks. Might be a bit longer, and it's certainly going to be a lot more animated because I got to be honest, at this point, I've kind of had it. And what do I mean by accountability? Well, for basically as long as I have resided here in China, there has been a constant stream of individuals who have gone on various media outlets and talked about their expectations of China. That's fine. That's to be expected. In today's day and age, people make predictions. That's fine. Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong. But when it comes to China, what I have found astounding is just how many people have made wild claims, whether it's about the economy crashing or invading of Taiwan or Xi Jinping is going to be dictator for life. The list goes on and on and on. And yet, how often have claims made in the past been not only wide of the mark, but objectively wrong? And yet, there's no accountability. You look at someone like Kyle Bass. He's been one of my favorite punching bags for the past 10 years. Here's a man who has made various claims, has moved the goalposts, moved on from saying that China is going to have an economic collapse, and now he seems to be some geopolitical guru talking to the White House, going on about China invading Taiwan. I'm old enough to remember when China was going to invade Taiwan before the Beijing Olympics, or claims that the same was going to happen before or right after the Winter Olympics of 2022. And it's fine. People want to come out with all of these, ridiculous claims. I have no problem with that. I think what I have an issue with is twofold. Number one is if you're providing a platform and allowing people to come on and have these conversations and make these claims, go and do your homework. Have they made claims before? Have those claims been wrong? Why not stop for a minute and ask, okay, Kyle Bass or Gordon, who wrote The Coming Collapse of China back in 2000, better part of 25 years ago now. Or now we have Peter Zeihan, right? He's the latest and greatest calling for China's collapse. It's a huge cottage industry. But nobody is held to account. No one says, well, you've been wrong in the past. Why is it that we should listen to you this time? So that's, I guess, issue number one for me. The other problem, and this is, I think, the reason why I've decided to jump on, is I made the mistake of watching a video clip from Bloomberg today in which Tom Keene was interviewing a guy named Bill Lee from the Milken Institute. I have no idea who this guy is anyway. And he was talking about Nanjing Lu and shops closing and what is he talking about? I mean, he referred to both Nanjing East and Nanjing West Road. They are mob scenes. This is where the new Apple store is based at this point in time. And the problem I have is, Tom Keene sits there and doesn't even question what it is that Bill Lee is talking about. Well, Bill, could you give me some more color on this? No, they everything that comes out is just taken as gospel. And yet, if we look, again, objectively, at what has gone down in the last, I'll just be gentle and say 10 years, when it comes to calls that are being made about China, the trajectory, and so forth, again, I'll stress, I have no problem with people making these claims. The issue is there is no accountability. There has got to be a point in which the media comes forward and says, okay, we recognize that China is a great power competitor, a great power threat, which I think is also objectively true. But the manner in which it's being discussed and analyzed is salacious, if I'm being direct. And this is not helpful for anybody, especially the policymakers. We've got the TikTok ban that's going through. Yellen's in town. She leaves talking about more tariffs. We've got Kishida now in Washington, D.C. They're looking to expand AUKUS. Japan's going to end up probably becoming part of NATO, the so-called North Atlantic Treaty Organization. That was pushed about a year ago. I'm sure that'll end up moving forward as well. But none of this is helpful. It's not helpful for anybody. And I think given the seriousness of the bilateral relationship between China and the United States, not just to those respective two countries, but to the entire world, it requires at this point that anyone who is provided with a mic and a platform to be asked harder questions. Well, why do you think all of these claims that you are making, which many people have made time and time again, and which have never played out, why is this time going to be different? Maybe it will be. But I think the time has come for greater accountability. And for however many people might view this, I'm going to continue to press this. I think it's critical. And like I said, a longer video than normal, a lot more animated, a lot more real Peter Alexander than normal. But I thought that this was seriously important. So with that, have a great day, and I'll talk to you again soon.